Welcome back to Online Life Skills. Today we're going to do reading class. Up on my computer screen, I have a picture of reading class. This is the teacher. They have a book that's up on their smartboard, and the students are in their desks and they're reading. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to work on some reading. This lesson goes with Benny's Pennies. You should have read the story already, but if you forgot, the link is in the description to listen to the story on YouTube. This is Benny, and these are his pennies. And what we're going to do is we're going to retell the story using this map. This picture is a map. It shows the place where Benny lives. Benny is by his house. Let's look at the things we see on the map. This brown line is the road. In the story, Benny walks on the road to go to different places. So our map has a road. There are also some things on the map. What do we see? I see a rose, a cookie, a hat, a bone, and a fish. What do we see? A rose, a cookie, a hat, a bone, a fish. Which one is the fish? Oh, that's right. This is the fish right here. In the middle of our pictures, we have something very important. We have a backpack. Now, in the story, Benny does not have a giant backpack as big as this, but we're going to use the backpack to imagine where all the things that Benny has will go. So at the beginning of the story, Benny has 5 pennies. They're in his backpack to show us that that's what he has. Let's count his pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the beginning of the story, Benny has 5 pennies. Let's tell the story and show what happens as Benny goes on his adventure. What happens first? Benny walks down the road and he saw Mrs. Hill cutting her roses. So he paid a penny to Mrs. Hill and he got the rose. So now the penny is not in his backpack anymore. He doesn't have that penny. Instead, he has this rose. How many pennies does Benny have now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Benny kept walking. He kept walking on the road, and he saw the girl, Lucy May, making cookies. And he bought a cookie for a penny. So Benny gave her a penny, and he got a cookie. Now Benny has a rose and a cookie, and he doesn't have 4 pennies anymore. How many pennies does he have? 1, 2, 3. Benny has 3 pennies. What happened next? Benny kept walking, and he saw the boy, Michael Bess, making hats. And Benny bought a hat for a penny. So he gave Michael a penny, and he got the hat. Now Benny has a rose, a cookie, and a hat. And Benny doesn't have 3 pennies anymore. How many pennies does Benny have? 1, 2. Now Benny kept walking along, and he saw Mr. Hopper. And Mr. Hopper's a butcher. That means Mr. Hopper cuts meat. And inside of meat, sometimes you find bones. So Benny asked to buy a bone for a penny. He gave Mr. Hopper a penny, and he got the bone. Now Benny has a rose, a cookie, a hat, and a bone. And he does not have 2 pennies anymore. How many pennies does he have? 1. Benny kept walking along, and he saw a man, Mr. Beale, who was fishing. And I remember in the book, Mr. Beale was sitting in a boat, fishing, catching fish. Benny asked Mr. Beale to buy a fish for a penny. So he gave Mr. Beale a penny, and he got a fish. Now Benny has a rose, a cookie, a hat, a bone, and a fish. And Benny doesn't have any pennies left. He spent them all. So then Benny kept walking along all the way back to his house, and he saw his family again, and he showed them all the things that he bought.